Hello, everyone. Richard here at Calvin Wazoo, where sometimes we deal with frightening lies from the other side. So I had received a copyright strike because I held up an album cover and showed it while I talked about the album. The album cover was from Michelle Shocked, the album Short, Sharp, Shocked. And Michelle Shocked filed the copyright claim, and not just a claim like sometimes is done when you are playing like a sample from some music. And in that case, it's when claims like that are filed, all they do is make sure that you're not getting any, if your channel is monetized, that you don't get any revenue from the views on that channel. It goes to the copyright holder. No, but this isn't, I didn't play any music from that record. I just held up the record cover and I got the strike. And I initially contacted Michelle Shocked directly because YouTube provided an email for me to do that. And I quickly could tell from her response to two emails I sent that there was no negotiating with her. There was no reasoning with her. So I went on, I took the copyright school, video. So in like 10 days, this copyright will be removed, but the video was taken down and it will not go back up. The entire video. I mean, this wasn't just about that single album. There were other albums that I talked about. But anyway, I went to the copyright school, which was very much like the information I get from my employer. I work for a big media company, and we go through trainings all the time about copyright, whether it's images or how to avoid a copyright claim when you're out covering, let's say, a parade, and while you're filming the parade or interviewing a parade viewer, there's a marching band going by playing music. Well, that's copyrighted, so it has to be removed. You can't go into the video for a TV news station because then the station would have to pay pay a copyright claim for that material. Lots of, all the kind of things like that. And then when it comes to photos, it is, with the copyright of showing a photo or using a photo, you must have, clearly you must have permission to use it, but you cannot avoid or eschew getting that permission by cropping a photo, because you're not creating a new asset. You're taking the original photo and you're just altering it slightly by cropping it. The company I worked for got hit a couple times with huge fines for using photos that come from a photo agency and then and just cropped it, because a lot of times photo agencies will put a watermark on it. So that doesn't it doesn't allow you to avoid a copyright claim. Even if you alter the photo a bit, you're not creating a new piece of art. It's still the same thing. So that's what I set about after it was clear that I was unable to communicate effectively, or she was unwilling to communicate effectively with me. I went on a search to find out who took the photo to the cover of Short, Sharp, Shocked. And this photo originally appeared in the San Francisco Examiner, and I tried to contact the San Francisco Examiner, but nobody ever answers the phone there, and their phone messages inbox or whatever is full, so you can't leave a message. So then I tracked down the photographer. The photographer has a website that specializes in photos of celebrities and famous people. And that particular photo that was used for the album cover is there on his website. So I contacted him, and that person is Chris Hardy. And he replied back that he owns the copyright to that photo. So I got that. And what happened with the original photo, if you look at the album cover, it's a photo of a San Francisco police officer restraining Michelle Schacht, who attended the 1984, I think it was, Democratic National Convention. So she was among the protesters exercising free speech. And she was being restrained by a San Francisco police officer. What they did was they blacked out the officer's eyes. They put sunglasses on him, I think, something like that. And then ran, as the cover photo. They see that changing the eyes is not enough to constitute the creation of a new piece of art. Then in later reissues of the album, they actually cropped the photo, zooming in on Michelle Schacht, and then they put the entire photo on the back cover of the record. Again, as I mentioned earlier, cropping a photo does not create a new piece of art, and you're still liable to copyright infringement. Anyway, Mr. Hardy replied that he owned the copyright to the photo. He did not reply when I replied to him, asking if he was extending permission for people to use the album cover, while talking about the record in YouTube. He did not reply to that. But anyway, I filed a counterclaim then with YouTube. And I'll just read to you what I said in the counterclaim. Claimant does not own the copyright to the relevant image. I contacted the photographer who took the photo used on the album cover, Chris Hardy, and then I provided his email address, who replied to me that he owns the copyright to the image. He has not filed a claim. YouTube's own copyright school informs that altering a copyrighted image does not create a new image. I work for a large news media company, and we go through copyright training all the time, and this is the same direction we receive from our own legal department. Modifying an image slightly does not create a new image. The image on the album cover was modified slightly by airbrushing the officer's eyes. This, I believe, does not fundamentally change the original image. I made no claim in the video that I took the photo, that I created the photo on the album cover, or that I claim in the video that I took the photo, or that I owned the image. I was merely holding the album cover to show it as I talked about my reactions to the album. This is what the thousands of creators within the vinyl community, or even those within the booktube community, we show books, do in every one of our videos. We show records, we talk about them. We show books, and we talk about them. This, I believe, falls under fair use. I request the copyright strike be removed as if it never occurred and the video restored. So that was my counterclaim. I thought I had enough legs to stand on. And a few days later, I got a reply from YouTube, and this is what YouTube said. The YouTube team: thank you for your counter notification. Unfortunately, it's unclear to us whether you have a valid reason for filing a counter notification, so we won't be able to honor your request. Counter notifications are only used when content has been removed as a result of mistake or misidentification. This includes a belief that your content is covered by copyright limitations or exceptions, such as fair use, fair dealing, or uses for the purposes of a quotation, criticism, review, caricature, parody, or pastiche. Keep in mind that using this process may result in the claimant commencing legal action against you for copyright infringement, so you may wish to evaluate your legal position before filing a counter notification. In other words, I interpret that to mean that YouTube is chicken shit. That they're kowtowing to the claimant, who is rather strident in asserting that they own copyright to that image, when I really believe that they do not. However, I'm dropping my counterclaim because it's clear to me that I'm not getting any support from YouTube. YouTube is intimidated by the claimant, and I would say that the claimant would probably engage in legal action against me if I took this further. For all I know, it might even happen because of this video I'm making right now. But I cannot afford an attorney. All right, even though it's likely that they would have to file if they took legal action, they would have to file in the federal district court where I live, which is going to be the Western District of Michigan. I kind of feel like I would get a favorable review from the district court here, because I do believe I'm on solid ground. But again, I'm not an attorney. I don't have the financial ability to hire a lawyer to represent me. So yeah, I'm going to drop it. And, in this particular case, Michelle Schacht has won. I certainly could build evidence that she is capricious in her use of her claim of copyright, because I see other videos. In fact, recently, within the last week, I saw a video that showed the cover to the album in the video. And, that video is going to be at risk of being taken down if she happens to see it. And because I'm sure she's got software that looks for references to her name and to that album, or any of her albums, I'm sure, which is why I'm not putting her name in any of the metadata with this video. So yeah, it's really disappointing because, our entire community is based on this style of presentation where we hold up an album cover and talk about an album. And if we can get our videos taken down on a whim by an artist who is being vindictive, then we're all at risk. I mean, how many of us have shown, we've done threads on, for example, covers done by Hipgnosis. How many Neon Park album covers have I shown? And Neon Park has never filed a claim of copyright strike. And he definitely owns the copyright to those images. Hipgnosis definitely owns the copyright to those images that were used in album covers, but they don't do anything like that because it's publicity. We provide free publicity for these musical artists, and this is what happens when apparently you're going to be dealing with, or if you're going to be talking about an album or anything that is connected with Michelle Schacht. So my recommendation is don't. I don't think this is going to be the first domino to fall in a cascading series of copyright claims made by musical artists or authors or artists who create book covers or album covers. I don't think that's going to happen. But it would be best to avoid the possibility with Michelle Schacht. So that's what happened. I'm capitulating. She won this round. Maybe she'll take on somebody else who is going to be willing to battle her legally. Yeah. So that's the story behind that, and I hope this video doesn't get me in any more trouble because my copyright strike will be lifted in 10 days. I just will not be able to repost the video unless I edit that portion out, and I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think I'm going to do that. Anyway, thanks for your time. Leave a comment in the down under if you like. Appreciate getting comments from you. Hit the thumbs up button, please, because that really helps with distribution of the content, even if you're already subscribed to my channel. Remember that I do have a Instagram account where I go by the handle of NewsDude76. That's NEWZDUDE76. My God, I think I've got way in the back, maybe a couple years ago, I did a post on Instagram showing that album cover. Oh God. Anyway, and then I also have a Facebook page called Calvin Wazoo where I post these videos and other music-related content. You can check me out on BookTube as well, where I talk about books from time to time. I thank you all for your time and attention and your well wishes and the fact that you watched all the way through to the end. And remember to pray for the people inside your head, for they won't be there when you're dead.